Welcome back to the DAZN Boxing Show. I go by the name of Barak.
And I'm Barak, the boxing bully.
Couple of things to touch on today. First, Ryan Garcia has reportedly nixed the tune-up fight versus Mercito Gesta in January to focus on an impending showdown versus Gervonta Davis in April, a decision that Oscar De La Hoya, his promoter, says it's a mistake. Also, another fight that just happened this weekend in the lightweight division. Frank Martin defeats Michel Ali Rivera, undefeated fighter. Great fight. We'll touch on that. First, Barak, I'm kind of siding with Oscar here. When leading up to a big fight, like a massive fight that it is against Gervonta Davis, maybe keeping the rust off and staying busy in the ring might be a good idea, and also picking up a check while you're at it.
I think Oscar forgot that when Canelo wanted to fight, who was it, Trout, before Mayweather, he was like, I don't know, that's kind of dangerous. And also when he wanted to fight Lara, he was like, I don't know, sometimes maybe that quote unquote tune-up fight is not necessarily great for that fighter if he has something else in sight, especially when how many times have we seen fighters either lose or just have really poor performances because they were not focused on that fight. They were focused on the next fight. If I got to go back in the history to Zab Judah, when he was supposed to be fighting Mayweather, but before that, who was that fighter that he fought? Baldomir, Carlos Baldomir, that's who it was. So Carlos Baldomir took away the WBC championship from Zab because Zab was focused on Floyd. Zab was like, I'm not going to train. I'm going to train a few days, get past this guy, and I got the biggest fight of my life. And it messed things up.
That might be the case in some cases, but when Gervonta Davis is fighting a tune-up, I think that makes it look funny. Hey, I'm taking a risk. I'm staying busy.
This is the thing.
Now, I'm not saying that he should approach it like him. Now, I'm going to throw some scenarios out there. I don't know that to be true. Maybe he's sore. Maybe he's injured and needs time to heal to be ready for that fight. Maybe psychologically for him, it takes that much time to get his mind prepared for one person. To your point, you brought that up. Maybe he just wants to focus on that. But on the surface, you would think that staying busy and active and keeping the weight down makes sense. I mean, it's not like you're fighting for free, but we don't know why Ryan Garcia feels the way he does. He's very passionate. He's saying, F a tune-up, I want to go straight to Davis. But Davis is not going straight to you. And that fight is not next month or the month after. We're talking 4 or 5 months away, bro.
Yeah, I understand that. But listen, if you go right now, you ask Gervonta Davis, are you fighting a tune-up before you fight Garcia? Well, the other Garcia, and he'll say, no, I'm not fighting a tune-up. This is both PBC guys. So this is something that was probably in the works already. Hector Garcia, first of all, is nobody's tune-up.
Right.
That's just it. Now, maybe Gervonta can go in there and show that he's special and get him out of there. Maybe, but he's not a tune-up fight. This is a legitimate fight that PBC was probably trying to already make. Ryan Garcia just happens to be the biggest fight. Right. You think Tank is really saying, oh, I need a tune-up before I fight Ryan Garcia? What would that do to his ego? Like, hell no, he's not thinking that. And Ryan Garcia is saying the same thing.
But Rock, it's not really so much about a tune-up with boxing nowadays. Like, not saying that either guy needs a tune-up. That's not a fight that's gonna get you ready for Ryan or get you ready for Tank. It's just there's a lot of time in between, right? And fighters tend to, when they're busy, they tend to be sharper in fights. They tend to keep their weight down because, there are more fights in between that time. Not to mention, this is how these fighters eat. This is how they get paid. The more they fight, the more money they make. So a fighter's never really gonna turn down a fight. I think in Ryan Garcia's case, because he's so marketable and has so many other endorsements, other ways other ways to make money, streams of revenue in a lot of cases, he's a little more lax when it comes to that. He doesn't need to fight. I'm not saying Tank isn't rich and he needs to fight, but it seems like he's not going to turn on a fight where he can make a couple of $1 million. And I think that also might be a factor.
Yeah,
I don't think that Gervonta is making money outside of boxing. That's not a shot. That's not a shot.
I'm just saying maybe assume that.
No, look, I'm not talking about businesses. I'm here, I've heard Gervonta Davis has a trucking company that probably makes money, and maybe he has other investments. I don't want anybody to take that the wrong way. What I'm saying, I don't know that. I know that Ryan makes money outside of boxing. I know that to be a fact.
Oh, okay. So then what's the problem then if he's not concerned about money and literally you think about it, that fight would be, if it is in April, that fight would be 4 months away, 4 to 5 months away, right? So you want Ryan Garcia, who's totally focused on Tank right now, who was even talking about Tank before the Fortuna fight, totally focused to get prepared for Hester, for Marcito. You want him to get prepared for him, and then
no way. He has
training camp.
How long has it been since he's fought, Barak? I mean, he was already training because he was scheduled to fight in January.
Yeah, but you know what? If you're staying in the gym, then you're good. Look at Terrence Crawford. Fight once a year, knock everybody out.
Come on.
You get ring rust. You get ring rust if you're not training. If you're not training, you get ring rust. If you're still training, then you should be good. And
I'm not saying he's going to be rusty.
Ryan Garcia fought 3 top 10 guys in 18 months, and that's with the mental health break that he took. That's with that. He's still, and the last 2 guys he fought, which was Fortuna and Tego, that was 3 months apart. So it's not like the kid don't want to fight.
No, I'm not saying that.
He's getting slammed. He's getting slammed for not fighting bigger names. So if he fights Hester, it means nothing. It's like going through a whole long camp, fighting this guy, could get injured, could get cut, anything can happen.
You're saying a long camp.
Let me finish. It does nothing for your legacy. And then you're gonna get bad press. People are gonna say, "Oh, you knocked him out because he's this or he's that."
You're gonna get bad press no matter what. Already. At this point, Barak, the fighters can't worry about bad press because they're gonna get it regardless. Look, Terrence Crawford, the best fighter in the world.
He'd rather the bad press without a camp.
No, but check this out. Do you remember that this fight was supposed to happen in December? You don't think he's been training? You think he's blowed up, overweight? No, I know the fight. I know for a while now we knew that it wasn't gonna happen in January. But he was getting ready for for December. The fight against Gervonta was talked about and was almost made for December. So he was ready for December. So it's not like, oh, I got to go back to camp. I got to drop 20, 30 pounds. I don't see that being the case for Ryan Garcia to get ready for a guy, for this guy in January. That's just my take on it. And I think that
and that's cool,
as far as bad press, nobody cares. Look, like I was trying to say earlier, Terrence Crawford is getting bad press. He's the best fighter in the world, knocking a guy out that's coming off for 6 straight knockout wins, and people act like they don't know who he is. So, I mean, at some point, you just got to ignore the press and stay focused on the goal.
Can you do that? Can you ignore the press? You're not even as famous as those guys, and I'm sure it's tough for you.
No, it is tough, but I mean, I've gotten better with that. And I think
all right, let me say something then. Fine, got you. But guess what? Terrence Crawford, you brought up Terrence Crawford. The reason why he made that 22 IG live video is because of the bad press. So people care. Human beings, we care about what people say. We care about what people think. But I think in Ryan's mind, I think this is a smart thing. If he feels that he doesn't need a tune-up, then he don't need a tune-up. Gervonta is not fighting a tune-up, and he's not saying he needs a tune-up. That's just the fight that was thrown in front of him.
Can I pose a question? I mean, who do you think this benefits more, Ryan Garcia or Gervonta Davis? One guy fighting and the other guy not fighting.
Well, that depends on how the preparation of Ryan Garcia. You never know. It might benefit Ryan Garcia more for not fighting, for not going in there and putting his body through that, and then got to turn around and fight again in April. So maybe that rest plus training in the gym might do better for him.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
you never know.
That might be the case.
We say, yeah, he needs to be a little bit more active, and sometimes being more active. But then I tell you, there's some guys who not being as active, they perform better.
Yeah, all right. You're talking about a guy like Terrence Crawford, who's an anomaly. But when's the last? What date? What month was it that Ryan Garcia fought Javier Fortuna and stopped him in a few rounds? Can you think of it offhand?
I can't. We were there. I mean, I don't remember.
Right. It's a long time ago, months ago. All right.
Let's look it up. Let's look it up. Let's get out.
So now you're talking about April of 2023. So, I mean, we know that Ryan's a big star in the sport of boxing. Big stars generally fight, 2 times a year, Barak? That's the standard that Floyd Mayweather set years ago.
True.
I mean, before him, guys fought 3 and 4 times a year. I had a conversation with Oscar De La Hoya.
But that don't mean it was good for you.
I'm not saying.
But that don't mean it was good. You know those guys also, when they get older, they turn out to be a little different.
Barak, but But Ryan Garcia didn't take any punishment against Javier Fortuna. So when a guy has a real long, hard fought fight, yes, I get that. Yo, we need a break. We don't need to go out there in 3-4 months. This guy knocked out Javier Fortuna and didn't take any punishment, right? So now
you don't know what kind of ailments he's already dealing with. You know,
I don't. That's why I mentioned. That's why I mentioned earlier.
If anybody should know what's best for the fighter, it's the fighter himself. We sitting here from the outside in the buzzard's nest, in the cheap seats, trying to decide what's best for the fighter, and he's trying to say, "Yo, I don't need a tune-up. I'm in the gym getting ready for one guy. That's all I'm focused on." If you can't mentally get focused on Mercito Hester, then guess what? It's better for him to bypass that fight and get in there and fight.
He has his reasons. Like I said, I threw out scenarios out there. We don't know what he's going through, but obviously there's a reason why. And we're not trying to force these fighters to do what we think is best. We're just giving our opinion on the way it looks. The only thing we can do is touch on the surface, unless we have personal relationships where we know more, like with a Terrence Crawford or like a Sean Porter, where we know a little bit more and we can elaborate. Right now on this, we just know the surface, right? So I'm going to disagree with you on this. I'm thinking it's best for him to fight in January, but then again, I don't know what he's going through, and you're right.
January, and then fight the toughest fight of your life 3 months later.
I think for a lot of fighters, I think saying that
take the time, get sharp, take the time, you stay busy in the gym. Yeah. That one fight ain't gonna make you better. One fight with Hester ain't gonna make him better.
No doubt about that. Look, this is the hottest division in boxing, no question about it. There are a lot of other hot divisions in boxing, but this is one of them. This past weekend, two undefeated fighters, Frank Martin versus Michel Ali Rivera. 1-0 had to go, and it was Rivera that went. Dominant performance by Frank Martin. Title eliminator, lightweight division. It keeps stacking up, Barak. The lightweight division keeps stacking up.
Yo, let me tell you, Martin showed me some things in there that I didn't really see him do in other fights. I already saw the speed. I saw that he's very technical and coordinated and just real graceful in there. Man, he was really smart with his punch placement. I seen him made an adjustment too. He was trying to do an uppercut. He was trying to catch him with a counter uppercut, but he kind of did like a 45 degree angle left hand, bam! And that's what did it. And I said, I know he's waiting for that uppercut because Rivera kind of kept falling in. You know, you don't want to fall in over your shots. You don't want your head, past your feet. You know what I mean? And that's kind of like what Rivera was doing. But total domination, man. Great job. But great job by Rivera by never really giving up. He was actually trying to the end.
He was. And to be honest, I think it was very limited in terms of adjustments. Like you said, Martin made great adjustments. I think Rivera got to the point where he started doing the same thing that wasn't working. He would throw the double jab and then try to land an overhand looping or a weird kind of angle right hand that Martin kept slipping. It wasn't working, so he didn't make too many adjustments. I'm not blaming the corner on him. I know he tried, he made a big effort, but I think he was limited in tools in the tool bag, and Martin was just a superior fighter. I think Rivera has, very talented fighter, has room to come back and learn from this defeat. And I think Martin goes on to the next level. This guy's calling people out. He's ready for whoever. He mentioned Gervonta Davis. He mentioned other guys in the division. I like that type of talk from a young fighter. He's not that young. He's already about, 27, 28 years old. So he's ready to get to the nitty-gritty and start making big bucks and fighting for titles. And I'm excited to see him fight anybody in that division.
Yeah, I like how, he mentioned the top guys, but he also mentioned Rolly. And Rolly was in the crowd. I was in the crowd myself as well. And I'd like to see that fight. I spoke to a couple of guys that was with Rolly, and it was like, Frank don't really want that fight. I disagree. I think he does want that fight now. And I see he got the skill set to back it up in there. And I would love to see Rolly versus Frank Martin.
Let's make that one next for sure. All right, that's our show for today, folks. Hope you guys enjoyed. Peace and love. Stay safe. Out of here.
Introducing the new DAZN Boxing Show podcast. No matter the time or the place, getting your boxing content has become easier than ever. Tune in as we give you exclusive insights, predictions, fight night recaps, and more alongside the biggest names in the game. All for free. Available globally every Thursday across all audio streaming platforms and with new episodes dropping weekly to give you the latest news. Just type in the DAZN Boxing Show podcast, listen in, and enjoy.